Explorer, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited for this today. 𝐂𝐵and75 let me know that Libelante had a new single. This is 𝐂𝐮𝐨 Infinito. I should think in Italian and not Korean. Let's go ahead and see what this is all about. I'm super excited. Oh, I can already tell I'm gonna love it just based on the piano alone. I used to love this kind of line as a pianist.
Ogni passo fatto insieme per noi lo sai più facile. Oh, senza lacrime come se giorni grigi e notti insonni. Sarà luce la mattina per vedere, sì vedere. Noi che siamo simili come il cielo azzurro e mare blu.
Pretty. With the added strings. Oh.
Come petali divisi, ma senza renderci. Perché l'amore sì, è qui da vivere.
Oh.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Ma se sei qui con me, ogni strada fatta insieme, con te lo sai l'affronterò. Senza lacrime, promesse, giorni grigi e notti e sogni, come il sole alto che ci cielo azzurro e mare blu. Siamo coraggio e le paure che non ci fermano più. Oh, oh. Noi siamo un cuore infinito. Oh, oh. Noi siamo un cuore infinito. Forte che una sbaglio ci può fare bene, se non restiamo uniti senza mai cadere. So che andrà poi tutto bene. Oh, il destino per noi è come una carezza e questo mondo non può finire. Oltre le paure vincerò. Poi noi siamo simili come il cielo azzurro e il mare blu. Siamo coraggio e le paure che non ci fermano più. Oh, oh. Noi siamo un cuore infinito. Oh, oh. Noi siamo un cuore infinito. Noi siamo un cuore infinito.
Oh.
Noi siamo un cuore infinito.
Goosebumps the entire time, guys. This is one of the reasons that I love the classical voice so much. So it's actually one of the reasons that I decided to go to music school and learn it myself. I grew up singing my entire life. I grew up with music. I sang in church. I did like all of the talent shows. I did all that kind of stuff, right? But the reason that I decided eventually to go into music education and to studying the art classical voice, because when you go into music education, you study the classical voice. You don't necessarily study you do, if you want, you know, you can study musical theater and things like that. And I did a little bit of all of that because I was just interested in it. But something I love so much is just when you're singing in a foreign language that you don't speak fluently, and you are able to what we did is we looked up every single translation. So we did something called IPA, which is International Phonetic Alphabet. So what we would do is we would go and we would translate it into IPA, so we all sounded similar. So we were pronouncing things correctly, right? And then we had to look up the translation and we had to understand it and really know what was behind everything, right? But then when you put voices together like this harmoniously, it's almost as if you don't need words. When voices come together and they harmonize in such beautiful ways, it's one of the things that makes me have like chills every single time. And it's something that I love about music. It's something that I love about performing. It's actually why I prefer, as a vocalist, to perform in a group rather than solo. You know, I thought when I was younger, I wanted to be like on Broadway and I wanted to do all this. And I actually found myself, when I was like in musicals in college and things like that, that I preferred being in the corps because I loved these really big numbers that had a lot of voices and just had all of the harmonies and had all of these different moving parts to them. And so that's why, like, in college I really preferred, I was in you know, we have to audition and we have to do so many different performances of different kinds. So I was in a small group that was like the chamber group, and I really preferred that because there were about 16 of us, and a lot of times there were times where I was like singing one line that no one else was singing, and we were doing all these sort of intricate movements, or, you know, there were only a couple of us singing that. And so this reminds me of that kind of experience where it's just a small group where you have all of your voices coming together to make this one incredible voice that sounds so amazing. So I really enjoy things like this. And I love that they did this in such a modern way, because when a lot of people think of classical music, and even, you know, sometimes I find classical music quite boring. Now, obviously, that just depends on the piece, right? But I think there's a lot of things, you know, people bring up to mind, you know, certain pieces in their pieces that they've heard over and over because they're very popular. And they're just like, oh, that's all that the classical music is. But you have to remember that the classical voice is that there's a lot that goes into it, right? So we have different music from each period. So Baroque is, you know, go back to J.S. Bach a really long time ago. But there's folk music and things within that time that are really fun and really beautiful. I actually really enjoyed, when I was in high school, I went to Europe with a very famous choir. And we had the opportunity in Venice to sing at one of the cathedrals there. And it usually wasn't allowed, but because we had a Handel piece, we were able to sing it in the place where it would have originally been sung, in that kind of atmosphere. And there was just such a sound and such a beautiful part to it. And then I had, you know, some more opportunities when I got older, like to perform in like different places in London and England. And that was amazing for me. Just performing in all of these amazing places with, you know, my big choir and things like that. In my small choir too. But it's one of those things when I hear things like this is so relatable, I feel like, to people. It's more, I don't want to say pop because it's not pop, but it's more song based. So, you know, we have, you know, like I said, we go back, you have your Baroque era, then your classical, then your romantic, then your impressionist, and you go like your new age, you keep going on. There's so much different kinds of music out there that really, when you think of the classical voice and singing, and one of the things I really love about when I was learning about the romantic era and kind of the classical romantic era that kind of changes, there's a thing with Italian art song, especially, and opera, that they talk about the bel canto voice, which means beautiful voice and beautiful singing. And the way that these artists in Libelante, like, they represent that so well, but in kind of a more modern song form. It makes such a beautiful piece, and I really, really enjoy that. And it's just, like I said, it gives me chills every time. So tell me what you guys thought of this. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Say you want me, and I